Right, can everybody see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. All right, so do you want to go ahead and start? Half a day, everybody. Of course, and welcome to the weekly meeting of the Interagency Council for Coordinating Homelessness Programs. I know that I can see that the following members are present. Mayor Robert Hoffman, Joanne Camacho, Alice Taiharin, Ray Tapasca, Dr. Margaret Hattori Ochima. I did not see Mr. Babalta, and if he does come on, of course, I will recognize him. And then I would like all the members to please review the minutes of September 10th at this time. And I am ready to accept a motion to approve the minutes of September 17th whenever a member wishes to make that motion.
September 10th minutes.
September 10th.
So
I
moved.
just have one correction.
All right, Alice.
I think it's the last part on the closing remarks. It indicates Guam Housing Coalition. I think that was meant to be Guam Housing Corporation.
All right.
To present, yeah.
All right, we'll make that change. Any others? If not, there's a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, second by Alice. All those in favor, aye.
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 Nay, and motion carries, and the minutes have been adopted. All right, just update with the Global Dorm Shelter. There are currently 72 individuals that are up there. This number, of course, there have been people that have been admitted and some folks that have been discharged. There are 29 children that remain at the shelter under the age of 18. And of that group, there are 7 of them that are school age. So I do want to point out that I asked the TAG to make contact with Catholic Social Services to find out what kind of support we should be giving the children given the distance education that is occurring in the school system, the various school systems. And of that, of the 72 people that are in, 13 of them are families with children, of which those 29 are a part of. With regard, so we still have unresolved procurement with the second facility. That's still active. I had a meeting on Friday with GSA administrator and with Homeland Security, Civil Defense Administrator, just to track where things were. There were a couple of, I guess, business owners that have made contact. GSA is in the process of reviewing their proposals. I do not have an update about when another facility will get on yet. I don't have, I can just tell you that there is still active procurement. The other thing I could tell you is that their Public Works is in the process of reviewing these mobile homes that are wanting to be donated, verifying whether or not they meet building code requirements. All of that due diligence is still ongoing. And I'm hopeful that we'll have more information about that by the time we have the next meeting. So that still is active. I will now move to Mayor Hoffman. I know that we didn't get to talk before this meeting, and we've been talking offline about further coordinating on the OHAPP. Is there anything you wanted to add on that?
Nothing right now, Lieutenant Governor. We actually haven't been able to get with Angel. We've been focusing on the cleanups and our audit.
Meal
right
distribution.
Now, so yeah, so, and food distribution too. So we've kind of been hitting it on all fronts, and so sorry, I don't have an update on that. I'm waiting for Angel to give me an update.
All right, so Mayor Hoffman, and I'll have Rob. I know we have. I'll schedule a follow-up meeting with you and with Angel Sablan tomorrow. So we can try and get some traction and be able to report on more progress by next week's meeting.
I do have a question.
Okay, but we are working with. but we are working with Catholic. So we've been in contact regularly about people that we found, either victims of violence and stuff like that, family violence. So we are having the discussions with CSS already, kind of not having an office set up, but we are having that discussion interaction.
I have
Okay.
a question. What are we doing about the ones in Tumon? Remember that multi-story thing? Where are those people? Are they still there? Because I believe in our last GVB meeting, they're still living there.
Yeah, they're still there, and that's because we don't have a second facility. Earlier in outreach, and we'll get an update and get some real-time updates from Catholic Social Services. Earlier on, there was some resistance by those folks to move, and there looks like there might be some progress based on their community outreach. So we'll have to get you an update on that. But that really, we're trying to bring up another facility close to those areas is the thing. Some of them do not want to leave the locations. I don't know, Dr. Hattori, I know you kind of have a long-standing visibility on this group. Is there anything you might want to add on the Tumon group?
Well, no, you're right. And First Lady, they've been there for a long time, and they're a very cohesive group, but also they're very suspicious, and they are concerned. They don't want to be placed too far away from their normal stomping grounds. And I believe, I'm not sure, Lieutenant Governor, the latest group, but some of them may have part-time jobs in that area. So that may also be a reason why they don't want to stray too far away. But yeah, Catholic Social Service has an excellent rapport with them, and I really appreciate all of you guys for continuing to communicate with them. We did do a swabbing there, remember in the early days when we swabbed the homeless. And that group of people, I have to tell you, was extremely cooperative. They even took a shower for the nurses before we came. They were very respectful, very happy to have the opportunity to get COVID tested, and they were all negative. So it's very important, and they were trying to maintain cleanliness and hygiene as much as they can in that area. But CSS does, and also I believe Salvation Army and Lighthouse Recovery all do regular outreach with them. So thanks for recognizing there's a need for shelter in that village.
Yeah, so we will continue to try and we'll continue to try and make some movement on trying to acquire another facility there.
Hey, LT, on that topic, because I lived in that area, they're squatting in private property. Is there not a way that we can have the owner just fence that up and do what's right and close that place down, or condemn the property to force that owner to maintain cleanliness? Because there is a lot of junk there, and I know the mayor has done many trailer loads of garbage to clean that up. And then if we have to move them that way to what facilities you currently have, I think it's on the part of that property owner to assist the government in doing so. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'll just tell you that that there's been a referral for that property to Public Works. They're working with their counsel, with their legal counsel for an enforcement action. But I can tell you though that what we've learned too is that property is in escrow. It looks like there is a sale that either has occurred or is occurring right now. But there is, and in fact, I'll just ask Stephanie Flores to follow up, and I will too with Public Works Director. There has been a long-standing referral for that property for enforcement of safety and et cetera. I do say though that that population was resistant to move to another village. And the early casework was that they're looking to move to another abandoned property in the vicinity, which doesn't resolve the issue. But there is a referral, and I understand Mr. Keeler, Attorney Keeler, and Mr. Areola reviewing that case. So, all right, I'll move now to subcommittee reports. I'll move first to Dr. Hattori Uchima. I have been getting some updates from Terry Yuggin from Public Health about the work being done with GMH, GRMC, and the social workers. So I wanted to pass it on to you first for an update on this issue.
Okay, well, we met on Tuesday, and that included Angel Sablon and Maria Timoteo, right, that runs the ADCs. Of course, GMH, and Terry Uggan is great. I've just really, I love him. He's wonderful. And he and Diana Calvo had been working on this issue, and Maria, on the weekend. So there was a lot of communication before the Tuesday meeting. So Terry was able to get from GMH more details about the patients that need to be moved, because it's very important for, depending on where we're gonna, what facility they're gonna end up using, that we know what level of care they need. And I gotta really also applaud Maria Timoteo and the Mayor's Council staff, because this is going outside their comfort zone, but they're completely, I'm just so impressed with the Mayor's Council and that staff, because they understand the situation at GMH, and they understand that we need to decompress. And so I just feel that it's a very functional group, because everyone understands that this is an urgent need, and they're willing to stand up a 24-hour facility when that, that's not normally their job. So I just got to say, I really applaud them, and we are being careful because we don't want the patients to go somewhere and not have adequate care. So GMH is being, very, very helpful with providing information to Terry, and Terry's really trying to put the pieces together. And Major Cruz from the Surgeon Cell, again, that was, genius to get them, because he really has a big picture and is trying to work in terms of procurement and staffing, and he understands the medical issues. So I really think that that's moving forward well. We have another meeting on Friday, but we also know this cannot be, while we understand it needs to be a Band-Aid, the facility we use, has a purpose. And so we can't make this long-term, because then those senior citizens that need that, when the day comes that we can open, we need to make that available. And so we need to, of course, Gura's involved in the conversations, and more attends those meetings as well. And we're evolving Division of Senior Citizens, DSC as well, because, that may also fall under their purview. But thanks so much, because it's, I'm just really impressed with everybody stepping up to the plate to help these homeless move out of GMH and allow the patients that need to be at GMH, to have those beds.
Right.
So thank you.
As I understand from Terry, part of it was just also understanding some of the families' needs. So I guess there are more families willing to try and get some more additional services so they could house their relatives in their own homes and stuff. So I know that. So there, what I've been told is that there is focused casework going on each of the patients with long-term planning in mind. But it looks like we'll wait for another update. But it seems that the interim facility that we had talked about is going to be necessary for transition. We just don't have the details. I know that Dr. Louis Cruz from the Surgeon Cell has been involved in understanding what the needs are. And I do want to extend our thanks to Mayor's Council. And of course, just for everybody that's listening, the Mayor's Council is currently contracted to provide, or I guess since it's government, assigned to provide a lot of the senior citizen support services, including some of the respite areas and stuff. So any update for you, Mayor Hoffman? You guys are ready to go? Is it just coordination going on?
Yeah, it's just coordination going on. We're still, I know that they put for the senior citizens, part of it, we put a limit on the meals, because I guess we reached the cap on the meal services there, but we're still getting a lot of interest out there. And then I know that with the ADC that we partner up with the CSS, I know that's something that we're really actively hoping to kind of see what we do. And we're actively trying to propose, we're working on a plan to reopen the centers once PCOR is lifted, so we can kind of do it safely. So it's something we're still doing, and we're working with a lot of partners with it.
All right. Anything else on this issue? If not, I'm going to.
I have a couple of updates, sir. This is more in
line
with
on the healthcare side or your housing committee?
Well, actually, it's on the global dorm side, but
okay.
You were speaking too fast, so I wasn't able to.
All right. Okay. I'll go ahead, Ray. I'll recognize you.
Okay, you know, I reported last week that that DISIT have completed the paperwork for us to find permanent housing for a person with disability. We had started prep on the unit. Unfortunately, the governor's executive order had suspended all construction activities temporarily. So now that we're back to, or that suspension has been lifted, the work to prep the unit is ongoing. But I do have some good news to report. We actually found permanent housing for one individual from the Global Dorm shelter. And we were able to house this individual with the Emergency Solutions Grant via the Salvation Army. So, you know, we're slowly chipping away. Some of the folks at the shelter are actually being placed in permanent housing, and we'll continue to move in that direction.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, the next subcommittee I'm going to move to is the one chaired by First Lady Joanne Camacho on the inventory of resources, and I'll go ahead and recognize her.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair or Lieutenant Governor. Actually, we're compiling all the information, and Candace has been great help. So whenever we're ready to, once we're done with all the different committees, we'll be able to share that. Basically, it's just gonna list out all the resources that are available for the homeless and those in need. So it's a work in progress.
First Lady, why don't we plan, next meeting I'm going to be asking parole services at corrections to come in to talk about that program and all of the all the issues that are surrounding that. Is a target population. So what we'll do is we'll get ready for your presentation in 2 weeks, if that's okay.
Okay, and I can actually send Rob the what he has it, show you kind of like what we're working on to make sure that we're in line, that it's not no surprise to you that this is how it's going to be presented.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
I'm not sure if I know that Mr. Babalta presented last week. I do not see him present, so I'll skip that one. Are you there, Mr. Oh, here he is. So just for the record, all members are present. I know that you did a pretty extensive and a good presentation last week. Is there any updates on the transportation front that you wanted to give us?
None at the moment, sir. We're readily available to assist whenever you know, we're contacted, and of course, persons with disabilities who are who have been cleared with their application, and of course, we have a bus stop over by Payless that the homeless riders, other than people with disabilities can you know, hop on the bus and go wherever they need to go to. But if there's anything else in addition to other needs, I'll be more than happy to address those needs, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Sel. Thank you, Sel. Before
I
the Guam,
I have a
yes.
comment to make. Mr. Babalta, after you did your presentation, I just kind of like, I guess I can call you offline regarding electric cars. I'm just not sure if Guam is really ready for that, and if there's a way to make it more hybrid. But we'll talk offline. This has nothing to do with homeless.
Man. Yeah. Sure.
I think we've done electric cars some time ago, and it kind of like didn't go anywhere. So I just want to make sure that we're spending the money wisely. But I'll talk to you.
We have a new team, and the funds for this program is federally funded, and we competed for this against over 240 some applicants.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Okay, thank you. I'll call you.
All right, and so now I'm going to, if there's no other reports from the Housing Subcommittee, I know one of the major partners is going to present. So at this time, I'm going now to turn the floor over to Alice Taiharin, President of Guam Housing Corporation.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We have everything on the screen. So this is just an overview of our programs and services from the Guam Housing Corporation. So on our first slide, Guam Housing Corporation Just an overview of what we are, who we are, why are we moving. Okay, hold on. We practiced beforehand, it was working. So Guam Housing Corporation, or GHC, Government Guam Autonomous Agency, founded in 1965. We are revenue generating. All right, we do not get federal funds or local funds for operations. Any monies that come in for loans, we use for more loans. That's interest and principal used for more loans as well. The primary purpose for Guam Housing is to provide mortgage financing for low to moderate income families for the purchase of their first home, and to provide rental opportunities to individuals and families in the low to moderate income range. Our mission: to create and preserve sustainable communities through innovative financing and the development of affordable housing in our community. Our goals: we seek to increase financial opportunities to assist low to moderate income families realize their dream of home ownership. We also seek to secure lower interest rates, develop creative financial solutions to assist with meeting infrastructure needs for applicants, Tomorrow Land Trust, and anybody else who may need it, right? And then also we research and plan the development of affordable homes utilizing newer technologies in home construction. Those will be our like 3 main goals for this next few years. Onto our programs and services. So we have the First Time Homeowner Assistance Program, or FTAP. We issue mortgage loans. We have housing rental. We also have emergency shelter. And then we have the COVID-19 Mortgage Relief Program. This is a grant program that's going to last about 7 months or until funds have been depleted. I'm going to go through each of the programs moving forward. And if you have any questions, I have like about 38 slides. I'll try and move through it quickly. If you have any questions, maybe you can just hold it till the end. Thank you. Okay. Our first program, our First Time Homeowners Assistance Program. So this is a grant program that was created to help Guam residents achieve affordable and accessible housing via Public Law 31166. Now, the eligible recipients are provided a grant of 4% of the total cost of the home to include closing costs and not to exceed $10,000. So if we were to calculate somebody's grant, they submitted all the documents, and let's say they needed $11,000, the most we could give them is 10. All right. The funding for this program, and I have to emphasize it's a grant program, the first $500,000 came from Guam Housing Corporation's operation budgets. This was This was legislated in, this was Public Law 31227. And then after that, so the $500,000 has been depleted. We've used that up. The Cheated Funds is now the funding source for this program. And that is given to us or given to Guam Housing when funds are available. All right, and that's through Public Law 32036. And I just have to mention that these funds are also depleting. So we're looking for another source of funding for this program. All right. Our First Time Homeowners Assistance Program, since coming on board in fiscal year 2019, we issued to the tune of $272,000 for FTAP, and that helped 33 families get into their homes. In 2020, we issued to the tune of $639,000 in FTAP money, and that helped 69. Well, let me see, 69 minus 29, 40. 40 right now. I have my team with me. 40 right now, and then we're working on the additional 29. We just received additional funding. So we're going to see about 69, a total of about 69 families get into homes this fiscal year, right? For a total of 102. Our First Time Homeowners Assistance Program, this is just a slide on the eligibility requirements. It's really clear cut, it's straightforward. You can't have owned a home for the last 5 years to the date of the application for this program. you submit a signed purchase agreement or construction, you have to attend and complete a GHC-approved homeownership education workshop, and that's administered through Community First, Micronesian Community Development Corporation, and an online workshop out of ehomeamerica.org. And then if you take a loan out and you apply for this FTAP program, it has to come through one of the financial institutions that have been approved by Guam Housing. So that's it for our FTAP program. Information regarding that is also online on our website. Our mortgage loan programs. So we have really 5 types of programs. One we will be closing out soon. We have the regular loan program. We currently have 121 loans outstanding. For this program, there have been many participants through the years who have paid it off and so forth. The 6% loan program. Then we have the Community Affordable Housing Action Trust. That's the CAHAT program. That is an interest-free loan, and it's usually used to help with down payment and or serves as a second mortgage for some individuals. And then we have the down payment program with 13 individuals or 13 families on this program. And I'll go into more details in the upcoming slides. All right. For a regular loan program, this is a residential mortgage lending program for first-time homeowners, an individual or family who are unable to obtain financing for the purchase or construction through a regular or traditional financial institution. The interest rate is 2% above the prevailing rate, and this is by law, this is statute. Term 15 to 30 years, and the funding source is Guam Housing Corporation revenues. Principal and interest that comes from other loans being paid, we issue this out again for more loans. Our regular loan program, so that was our, there's 3 different criteria here. Our eligibility, apologies. That was our program description, our eligibility criteria. U.S. citizen, permanent alien, resident of Guam, minimum occupancy requirement of 2 years. You have to live in that home for at least 2 years, and we do have our team members going out and inspecting to ensure that people are in their homes and not renting it out, right? And one of the criteria is to have a written denial from a financial institution. So that's 1 letter. Previously, individuals were thinking they needed 3, but no, it's actually only 1. You only need 1 letter from an institution denying you, indicating that you're not eligible to borrow from them. So that's our eligibility criteria. Now we have a qualifying criteria. You could be eligible and not qualify. But if you're eligible and you qualify, you have to have been employed for at least 2 years, acceptable credit. The maximum income in housing expense ratio is 29%, and then debt to income is 41%. I think 41% is very generous, and that's statute, that's by law. These percentages are by law, right? Under the regular loan program, we have a collateral criteria. This collateral criteria speaks to the home itself, all right? Not to the individual, but the home that's going to be purchased or constructed. So the maximum loan to value ratio is 80%. That'd be Guam Housing first mortgage, right? All improvements or anything in the homes must be insurable. It has to be a detached family, single family dwelling, like it could be a duplex or anything like that. Now, townhouses and condominiums are acceptable. However, Guam Housing has to review the HOA, the Homeowners Association agreements to ensure that it doesn't conflict with any of our underwriting requirements. So that was our regular loan. We're on to our 6% loan program. This is a low interest residential mortgage loan. It's for first-time homeowners. Again, unable to obtain traditional financing. Now the interest rate is 4 to 6%. This is statute. Loan term is 30 years, and the funding source, again, is principal and interest payments. Now, 4 to 6%, what this is if an individual went out there and they couldn't qualify for any loans, we calculated their interest rates or their information, and it comes out to maybe 3%. It's actually 2% again above the prevailing rate. The floor for this loan is 4%. Is it 2%? Right? And the ceiling for this loan is 6%. So if somebody came in and we did our calculations with regard the current interest rates, if the current interest rates were higher, they could qualify for a 6%. And if they wanted to borrow from us and the interest rates are lower, which they are now, and they were still going to borrow from us, the floor is still 4%. Right? The interest is determined by law. So everybody knows that the prevailing rate is currently lower. So if someone couldn't qualify out there and they came to us, then the floor would be 4% to borrow from us. Our eligibility criteria is all the same: permanent resident, U.S. citizen, or permanent alien, Guam, or a resident of Guam. Minimum occupancy is 2 years. Denial letter from the financial institution, and the applicant again has to be a first-time homeowner. Qualifying criteria: you had to have been employed for at least 2 years. You have to have acceptable credit. And again, the maximum income to housing expense ratio is 29%. Debt to income is 41%. So the maximum loan amount for our 6% program is increased to the Federal Housing Administration's current maximum loan limit, which I believe is $314,000 or a little over, right? So our maximum is at $300,000. We set it to $300,000. And then we have Public Law 22-113, which authorizes GHC to adjust its loan limits using FHA maximum loan amount as established by HUD. That's it for a 6% loan, our Covet. So enabling legislation, Public Law 2199. This is an interest-free second mortgage. It's also a down payment assistance program. Individuals or families applying must be first-time homeowners. They have to lack the down payment resources to purchase or construct a Type 1 resistant home. Loan term is 30 years. The maximum loan amount is $40,000, and the funding source was established by Public Law 2199. Now, this was legislatively appropriated through Public Law 2199, which was in March of 1992, signed into law, and the amount was $4.5 million. The total funds received to date is $2 million. So we haven't the additional 2.5 mil. Current funding balance on the Covet is $56,849 as of July 2020. We get quite a few interested individuals, and there's a need for this type of second mortgage. However, we just don't have the funding for it. There's no interest on this. They do pay back the principal. So whatever Guam Housing gets back in principal, we lend it out again. But we are seeing that the funds are dwindling much quicker than we would like it to. All right. Eligibility criteria, the same: U.S. citizen, permanent resident, alien resident, resident of Guam for at least 5 years. Minimum occupancy requirement is 5 years. Our team does go out to check to ensure that individuals who receive this mortgage are in their homes. They have to obtain financing from a participating financial institution and or through GHC. They can, if they qualify here. And the applicant must be a first-time homeowner. Qualifying criteria: permanent employment of 2 years, acceptable credit. Once again, maximum income housing expense ratio is 29%, debt to income 41% to include first and second mortgage payments. So all of that will be calculated. Collateral criteria. This is, of course, the collateral criteria always speaks to the home itself for purchase and or construction. So the maximum loan to value ratio for the Covet is 95%. All improvements must be insurable, detached family, single family dwelling, and once again, townhomes and condominiums acceptable, as long as the HOA agreement does not conflict with our underwriting requirements, underwriting policy. Our down payment loan. So earlier I indicated that this is one of the, that we are going to be, there are no more loans being issued through this program. This was actually, we were a subrecipient. It was agreement between GORA and GHC. We have 13 mortgage holders left. As soon as they're paid off, then we're done with that relationship, right? So GHC is the loan administrator. They've used this to repair their loans. It's interest-free. And most of these, if not all of these individuals are living at Sagan Linadsan up in Dedido, Jigo, in Dedido. Okay. So 13 remaining loans, and this will no longer be available. All right. So throughout the presentation, I was mentioning participating financial institutions. So we just have a table here that indicates the institutions that we work with, and they participate in these different programs. Right? Now, if there are financial institutions that are not listed here that you work with, or people who want to borrow, all they'd have to do is submit a letter to Guam Housing Corporation indicating their interest, and then we just go over the requirements with them, and they can become participating in financial institutions. This is just the slide on the terms and the definitions and descriptions of what we use throughout the presentation in the event someone needed more of an explanation. So I hope it's going to be helpful to everybody. So that's going to be our mortgage side, right? That's speaking to our mortgage side. We're going on to our housing rental services division, right? Our housing division. So we have basically 3 locations. We have Gumat Sadas, which is an apartment complex in Jigo. We have Lada Gardens in Dedido, and then we have Sagan Linadsan in Dedido. So as you can see there, we have 24, we have 2 buildings of 12 units each. So a total of 24 units in Gumat Sadas. 8 2-bedroom, 16 3-bedroom, for a total of 24, right? 10 of those are vacant. We have Lada Gardens. We have a total of 114 units, 31 currently vacant. And in Sagan Linadsan, we have 10 total units. None of them are vacant. So we have a total of 41 units vacant combined.
Alice, are the vacancies, are they inhabitable?
Yes, I was just going to get to that. Actually, our next slide speaks to that, Lieutenant Governor. I just wanted to indicate that our occupancy rate is really like about 72% right now, and vacancy rate is about 28%. And yeah, we'll go on to the next slide. So there, as you can see, in Gumat Sadas, we have, these are housing units needing major repairs. So in the previous slide, we have 10 vacant. Of that 10 vacant, 8 need major repairs. In Lada, we have 31 vacant. Of that 31 vacant, 24 need major repairs. And then in Sagan, there's no vacancy, but there's one that needs major repair, right? I can explain, that's a different kind of house than Sagan Linadsan. So
when you say major repair, like what are you talking about?
We're talking about basically the shell, the structure. We're looking at having to potentially, with the electrical, potential plumbing, just like major.
And this is because, I mean, years prior to you coming on board, I mean, these are things that have existed: age of the home, earthquakes, typhoons, and other, Guam is not an ideal condition with the seawater and rust, and also, is that something that just really compounded then, and you inherited this many?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Hoffman. Yes, since coming on board, a lot of these units were already in disrepair. And our team, since coming on board, we have managed to get at least 1 to 2 units that our maintenance team can address back online every month. We're looking at 1 to 2 units a month. These units, though, however, we cannot have them look or touch it because we need contractors with the expertise. And so a lot of these units, they've been abandoned, windows have been broken in. It was allowed to fall into disrepair previously. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
We have, since coming on board, we've worked with DPW. They've given us an assessment of the potential cost for Lada, Guma, Sutdes. And then in the next few slides, I'm going to show you like what we're planning to do and how we're going to approach this as best we can, given our current situation. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. So one of the other services that we offer is emergency shelter services. We get these calls a lot. We shelter unsheltered individuals or families due to disasters, storms, fires, and flooding. We have temporary shelter. It's a temporary shelter for 30 days. Utilities are included, so Guam Housing absorbs the cost for power and water. All right, and then also we shelter when we have housing units available. Sometimes we are at max capacity and we're unable to take families in. So it's only upon availability of housing units. Unsheltered individuals and families served in FY 2019. So at Guma Sutdes, we had families who were there for 30 days, a lot of gardens, as you can see, 30, 90, and then one there 90 plus days. Sagin Lanazan, 30 days, and then a couple that are 90 plus days, right? So nobody gets really kicked out. What happened with these 13, these are 13 head of households. All right, so I can't tell you right now, we're trying to get the numbers of like how many were families of 2, 3, 4, 5. But consider these head of households, these 13 individuals, right? 13 families. Of the 13, 8 transitioned to rental customers. So our housing team has been doing a really good job with going above and beyond what they need to do. They've actually connected them with Salvation Army and GURA, right? So the rental staff work closely with GURA, even with DISIT and other nonprofit organizations. Catholic Social Services, thank you so much for your assistance and your partnership, right? To provide these individuals and place these families into more permanent housing and access other programs that they may not have known about. So 8 transitioned to rental customers. 1 moved out after 30 days, they found housing, and then 2 moved out after 90 days. Okay. For FY 2020, we have 9 heads of households, 7 transitioned into rental customers. There's 1 whose application is pending, so transition into a rental again, and there's 1 currently being sheltered. And of course, our housing team would work with them to get them onto public assistance and place them wherever they need to be.
So your referrals normally come from Salvation Army, Catholic Social, or Red Cross even? I imagine, like, when we, from time to time, there are victims of fire. Is there a priority? I know you said it's based on availability, but on top of that, are there priorities? I imagine there's some wait lists.
Knock on wood, we have a wait list for individuals to get in, yes, to be rental customers. We've tried to set aside at least 5 units, right, to occupy for individuals needing shelter for emergencies or, the unsheltered population. So that's what we use is we put aside at least 5 units And once that's full, it's really unfortunate. We have to turn them away. We don't have anything if those 5 units are taken.
So a question for you. So those 5 units you keep, you pay the power and water monthly, right? Because obviously it covers power and water. So that's part of your expense.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We cover the water and power at our units for these unsheltered individuals. We do, I was kind of hesitant to mention this, but we do, if they do come to us, we really try not to turn them away. What happens is we'll put them up in a hotel, right, for at least 30 days, and we absorb that cost. Guam housing is really in financial need, and we're really, it's really tight. It's really tight right now, but we do what we can so that we don't turn people away and we house them. All right. I hope that was okay. Our last program that I mentioned was our COVID-19 mortgage relief. Now, this was in partnership with GURA. It was recently announced. Thank you, Ray. I mean, I just have to say to this team here that since coming on board, it's been emphasized over and over again that directors work together, see what's out there, see how you can help each other. And I have to thank Mr. Ray Tapasna from GURA for his partnership and his leadership on this, and just really working together to address our needs, right? So through this partnership, we were able to get a grant for $714,000. All right, it is projected to assist at least 200 plus mortgage holders. Now, these are all mortgage holders across the island, not necessarily just GHC mortgage holders. It's going to be a payment of up to 3 months, and it's going to be a first come, first serve type of deal, and it's until funds are depleted. All right, so that's 714. What we have for you on the screen here is just kind of the process. People keep asking, well, what's the process? What's the you know, what do we do and how is it going to be done? So this up here is a guide. It also gives you the income limit and just how everything's going to flow. Okay. We'll also have this information up on our website.
Would you go ahead and just, since this is probably an opportunity to get folks the information on their basic eligibility and stuff. Could you just walk us through the application process?
All right. Okay, so our eligibility, the applicant would submit the application and supporting documents to GHC. On that application, we're going to have a checklist for them. All right, we have to emphasize that we will, because it's first come, first serve, and until funds are depleted, we're only going to process applications that are complete. So an applicant, you see the eligibility criteria in red. They have to have an owner-occupied home. The household has to be is below low to moderate income. The table's right there. Family of 1's 36,000. A family of 8 earning 64. That's the income, right? And very important, employment had to have been impacted by COVID. So there's going to be requirements, a letter from the employer, COVID-19 mortgage relief application, the employer letter saying they were furloughed or they were reduced in hours. We need a verification of income and employment or verification of unemployment benefits. Oh yeah, a verification of unemployment such as PUA, food stamp, Quest card rather, all of those public assistance. We need a copy of the latest 2 check stubs, current utility bill, the latest savings and checking account statements, latest tax file, and if the individual is self-employed, the last 2 years of tax filing, and then a verification of mortgage, usually a letter from the bank or their mortgage document, and a valid photo ID. So those are that's your checklist. You submit the application, it comes to our loan staff. If it's complete, the loan staff will move it forward for review, and if it and then all the way down to the process where we'll give them a call and say, your application has been approved, it's being processed, payment will be made in so many days, right? If it's not complete, the loan staff will call the individual and say, you need to submit these documents. Now, it's very important to note that when this happens, the person is going to lose their place in line. Submitting an application does not keep your place in line. you have to ensure that you submit everything and that it's complete. So,
So Alice, and maybe Ray or you could answer this. How was the eligibility criteria determined? What's the rationale behind that? The amounts, is it based, I imagine it's indexed or based on a guideline, maybe? Could you give us information about that?
hello?
To Alice?
Yes, I'm sorry, we lost you, Lieutenant Governor.
All right, I just wanted to find out from you or from Ray, what is the rationale or the source in determining the eligibility criteria for the program?
Well, the thing is COVID, it has to be COVID, it's a COVID grant.
No, I'm sorry, for the income requirements. Is that
That
a
was,
federal index or?
Yes, we're following HUD's regulations or HUD's table, right, for the income, the low to moderate income.
So the other, we've been reading some states have been through some of the similar pass-throughs from HUD have been pushing out similar programs. Is this the eligibility criteria is consistent with the others, or what's your read or gauge on it?
Well, it's working with GURA and through their recommendations, and I believe HUD's review of our documents and everything that we've submitted. I don't know if it's the same with other states. I haven't seen, I apologize, I haven't seen anything or researched the other states and what they're doing. We're just working with GURA on this to ensure that we follow HUD's requirements. We don't want to lose out or jeopardize anything with this federal grant.
Anything to add, Ray, on this?
Yeah, at least from my knowledge, ours is one of the better ones. And when I say one of the better ones, I do believe I've seen what Hawaii did, and I've seen some jurisdictions in California, and some of them have about 1 to 2 months worth of mortgage payments, and we're hopefully going to give out, or Guam Housing Corp is going to be able to pay out as much as 3 months. So it's my understanding that ours might be one of the better ones.
Since the launch, how many applications have we received, and how many have we helped?
Thank you, First Lady. We actually are not receiving any applications right now because our updated status right now is there's still the subrecipient agreement plus other documents that have to be reviewed by our legal counsel, working with GURA to ensure that everything is in place. We are taking phone calls. We're not putting people on the list. What we're telling them is as soon as it's done, we actually we're ready to hit the ground running. We're just waiting for all these legal things that need to be addressed, right? We'll put an ad in the paper. It's going to be up on our website, and people can. We're giving individuals who call that information to contact us. Just check with us in a week. Check our website. Check the newspapers because we're going to be putting it out there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, good program.
Yes, we're very excited about it, and we're hoping to get it going soon. Okay. Were there any other questions with anything else? I know I was asked to present on our assets. So Guam Housing, if no questions. Guam Housing has,
No, I was just gonna, I guess I just wanted to maybe put a bookmark, Alice, and figure out whether or not you might be looking at, or maybe look for some opportunities or connect some opportunities to maybe getting some resources to repair the down units and trying to align them with the need for transitional housing. So as you know, that's been a big lack, or I guess a big void in the in this entire system on trying to find transitional housing units that some of which would be subsidized by waivers, but some of them to try and get people into transitional housing that are sort of stuck at some of the shelters longer term than anticipated. As an example, there are single women with children that are at alley shelter that are there longer than their program anticipates, but there is a lack of transitional housing. So I just wanted to bookmark, and I have some ideas, and I've asked the I asked the clearing out, well, maybe we can connect them on trying to look for opportunities to maybe repair some of these homes, but make them available for some of the voucher programs. Because I think one of the other things I'm hearing is there has been, although sometimes there are vouchers, sometimes the inventory of units or landlords that are willing to accept the vouchers from GORA or any of the other programs, there's a gap. So I just wanted to bookmark and maybe see whether or not we could basically do two things: repair and bring up the units, but make them available for some of the subsidized waivers that are available.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'm hoping that the next few slides will help to address some of your ideas. So we have, Guam Housing has 151 units, right? 148 rental units. 3 units are being used by our rental team, or our housing rental team, and our maintenance office. With regard to property, we have 26 acres of undeveloped land that's up at a SUTDIS. Now, we recently issued an RFI, right? A request for information with regard to the development for that property. We've just received it back, it's closed. And we're going to review that RFI, work with DPW, and create our RFP, our request for proposal to develop those 26 acres for homes, right? We also have, Guam Housing also has other real estate owned, that's OREOs, we call them OREOs, right? We recently sold 2, one in PD and then the other in Jonia. We just closed on Jonia. We have 2 currently outstanding. We have a Dedito home. I think that's a 3-bedroom home. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's on hold right now. It's pending. We have a potential buyer. The couple is low to moderate income, and that's our our clientele. We really wish we could just sell these homes to them. The other one is a GIGO property, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is GIGO's a huge piece of property. It's about ½ acre to an acre, is it? Closer to an acre. It's in Gallinero area, close to a store, a school. And I was looking at that property. We're looking to try and clean it up, but maybe we can offline schedule a look or a visit to that property to see if it's something that we can use for the unsheltered or transitional homes that we need. So that's in GIGO. It's good that we only have, so our OREO properties are those homes that we've had to foreclose on, sadly, but it happens, right? Okay, challenges. The challenges that Guam Housing is seeing is major repairs in these units, cost and availability of contractors. We've experienced contractors don't want the small projects. They want the large projects that pay more, understandable. And then GHC has limited financial resources. We're really revenue generating. We haven't been generating revenue in the past few years before coming on board. All right, we have a lack of, our challenge is also a lack of inventory in homes within the price range, affordable for low to moderate families. We looked at the housing study, and I think what is affordable is $271,000. And if you just take a look at pages out there searching for homes, you're looking at 271, 169 for a multifamily unit. A low to moderate income family would need to have saved 20% to be able to purchase that home, which comes out to about $54,000, right? Which is really difficult. So those are, that's one of the challenges with Guam Housing is, and we're hoping that saturating the market. I wish we had more money to buy these homes and resell them for to our clientele, but that's a challenge. Another challenge is to increase our loan portfolio. So some of the challenges, even before COVID, right? We had the cost and availability of contractors, therefore individuals not being able or not wanting to take out loans. Lack of financial education, that's a reality. People have bad credit. They don't know how to save. They can't save for these down payments and closing costs. So that's a challenge. Personal situations, medical expenses, studies. in my previous life, prior to Guam Housing, studies show that, the biggest expense that may cause or prevent an individual from buying a home or losing, or probably potentially losing their home is medical, right? Personal situations. And then now with COVID-19, financial hardships have just increased, and this prevents individuals from coming in to borrow from Guam Housing. So that's a challenge for us right now. Okay, short and long-term plans. So I mentioned we had housing units that needed major repairs. We went through I worked with our team and our accounting manager. What we can spare at this point in time, and we're looking for other ways as well, is $800,000, which comes out of our self-insurance money. We're looking to take the $800,000 and help to repair our units in Lada, which is probably the only thing we could do at this point. So we will come to you to seek assistance for potentially a SUTDUS apartment complex. Okay. So and then our CARES Act funding for mortgage relief.
And I just wanted to say that, hey, before, I just want to tell the other members that a SUTDUS is actually, that unit is right next to FB Leon Guerrero. So it is for families that have school-age children or children that are middle school, high school. It's ideal because you don't really need any transportation to get there. But I just wanted to, and then the LADA units, it is, for those of you familiar, the Guam Housing Corporation LADA units are co-located or next door to some Gura housing units, next door also to some of the affordable rentals that were developed by, I think by Ironwood, if I'm not mistaken, it's Ironwood or Cortex, I think it's Cortex. So that area in Dededo, of course, it's highly populated, but it's also close to schools, Dededo Public Health, the mayor's office, Kuma San Jose. So that area is actually very, very accessible to all sorts of conveniences for some of the struggling families that also have struggles with transportation. But I do think, Alice, that the at least where these rental units are, there's a lot of promise to try and identify them either for transitional housing or for the referrals for the subsidized vouchers for all the different target populations. So I'm glad that you're focusing in on it, because I do think that it's gonna probably also help with your finances, but it's gonna provide a gap that currently exists.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. We're doing our best to try and build those homes. Yeah, Dededo is close. The Lada subdivision there is also close to, I believe, 1 or 2 elementary schools and 1 middle school, Beneventi. So it really is ideal. Public health and the mayor's office. So do what we can. So our short and long-term plans, home improvement loans, we're working on that to allow individuals in the low to moderate income, right, come out and borrow. Now our goal is to get people into homes, but once they're in homes, everybody knows you need to be able to put aside some money to maintain those homes. So that's one of the goals that we have with our home improvement loan. If they're already in a home, help them to repair, retain, right? Professional development certification. When I came on board, I was talking to the team here, and they had mentioned that it had been a long time, like years before they could, before they got any type of training, right? So one of the things that we started was just taking advantage of what was available through DOA. I also, one of the big things I want to do is get our team trained in financial and housing counseling to work with our clients, and maybe not just our clients, anybody that needs help, right? But our clients first. And we're working with nonprofits on that. And we've got somebody over the Gita, Mel, that Tabalong, I think it is, he's great. He's been helping us with that and providing professional training for everybody on the team when we can. I have a planning administrator who has a lot of federal grants background. Like she's written tons of grants for the other agency that she came from. So I'm utilizing her to look for federal grants, local grants, anything that can help us with housing, providing for the unsheltered population, and of course for professional development. She was actually our lead for the mortgage relief program. So she's been amazing. Then another goal is to of course build the affordable homes and rental units, and that will be through our Asuttis subdivision there, and hopefully we get that going. We just closed out the RFI, so we'll start on the RFP soon. I was asked to indicate accomplishments. So since coming on board our first time homeownership assistance program, we were able to get $911,000, and that helped 102 homeowners get into their homes, purchase their homes. All right, the mortgage relief program, that was through our team. I can't take credit for all of this. I couldn't do this if it weren't for my team. We have a partnership with our Guam Community College, a living lab. So how that works is we've already signed off on the MOU. We're just about to start, and then COVID hit. And what it is they're taking like the trades students from Guam Community College. We've identified a home, and they would rebuild that home. And that becomes their living lab, electrical, plumbing, putting up walls, things of that sort. So that would help them with their the teachers and the students. It becomes a living and learning lab, right? Since coming on board, we've helped. Our team has decreased rental delinquency. When I looked at the numbers and I first came, I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened, right? So from 2018 to 2019, we decreased it to 13%, from 16 to 13. We were doing really well in FY 2020, and then COVID hit. So what's happened is because there's been a moratorium, people being affected by COVID, their employment, our delinquency, and that's the delinquency rate is people not paying their rent, right, for a rental on our rental side. Increased to 15.23%. I anticipate a greater increase in the next few months because of COVID. But prior to that, we were doing really well, reducing delinquency. Okay, our loan delinquency rates have also decreased down to 9% in 2019 from the 2018 numbers, and then in 2020. It increased 14%, and of course that's due to COVID. A lot of our mortgage holders affected by that. We increased since coming on board. What we did is we have to provide housing for individuals who are not GURA tenants or GURA clients, right? So, but we also provide housing for GURA clients. And since coming on board, we've increased our GURA compliant housing units. Which allowed us to access the higher rental rates with GURA, right? And that helped with our revenue, to increase revenue a little bit. So it's a real balance. We can't just rent to GURA tenants. We also have to keep this open to others, the general public, right? Our team received a certificate of excellence for our citizen-centric reporting for FY 2019. And we're excited. I think we're going to get one in 2020. We're hoping, right? And then, of course, team professional development sent our team to all kinds of training. I just want all those listening that professional development is also, for me, at least personal development. One of the trainings that I asked our team who wanted to attend was the ASSIST training, and that's in reference to suicide, right? Identifying symptoms and how appropriate that is, what a need it is for today in today's world. So all kinds of training, anything to help our team professionally and or personally is a positive for Guam housing. And that concludes my presentation. I'm open to questions. Here's our contact information. I hope that addressed a lot of your questions, Lieutenant Governor, and I hope we're on the right track.
Thank you. And I'm sorry that I took the liberty as a chair to interrupt your presentation.
No.
I will now open first questions to council members and then to the public. Council members, any questions for Guam Housing? First Lady Joanne.
I do have a question. Alice, so you know the delinquency, because you're giving out some, I guess, some money for people to go, I guess, to the banks and get some forgiveness for their loans or be able to pay their mortgages. Are you applying the same thing to your own people that own homes that are delinquent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you, First Lady, for that question. So the mortgage relief program is going to be for all mortgage holders, including Guam Housing mortgage holders, right? And what it is the payments are going to be made directly to the financial institution.
Right. What about our own people, the ones that you loaned out money to? You know,
if they're eligible, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you pay yourself back because they owe you. They owe. Oh.
So if a Guam Housing mortgage holder was affected and is eligible, right, affected by COVID and eligible for that, then from the funding we will pay the mortgage for them to us.
Okay.
Because payments are going to go directly to the
bank.
financial institution. Yeah.
Right. I forgot that. Okay. And the other one other question, comment is basically, do you partner with the Guam Banking Association? Maybe they can help your people with professional enhancement and also some of your own clients. You know, when you start off, everything sounds good. You get all the information you need. You go to the class. You learn how to manage your accounts. But then through the years, you forget, or you know, you got to be reminded. Those kind of sessions might be good for you know, your people that have loans with you that may be slipping and be reminded. So some kind of refresh training, and maybe the Banking Association can help you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I made a note of that. Our team's making a note of that. We'll look into it. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions from other council members? Ray Tapasnia?
Yeah, I have one. Well, actually, it's an update in response to your question on the mortgage relief, because I know there's a lot of hype on that. There's actually 2 pending items, and Alice mentioned this subrecipient agreement, which is currently being reviewed by legal counsel, both Gura's side and the Guam Housing side. That will, I can imagine that won't take more than a few days. And then the last document is the environmental clearance document, which is actually on the governor's desk as we speak for signature. If she signs it today, then we're just down to 1 item. So I anticipate it'll be open real shortly.
Thank you, Ray. Any other council members with any questions for Guam Housing? If not, I will now move to, and I will go ahead and invite the public for any questions or comments on this or matters within our purview. Mr. Ekelani.
This is the Guam Housing Corporation, right?
Yes.
It is. That's the presentation.
I apologize. All right. So in the past, there was supposed to be a project, which was, I guess, the time there was a Mr. Caesar, I forgot his last name. And there was supposed to be a project for a homeless shelter and possibly a help center, and it fell through. I think word of mouth was there wasn't enough funds. It wasn't practical. There's like some sort of maybe a committee, executive committee, I don't know. But that money was then, I guess that might have been somehow connected to the new efforts towards a homeless shelter, and somehow connected to the old legislature building. Can you, I don't know, are you able to speak on that a little bit, or?
Thank you, Mr. Ekelani. We do not have any, I am not aware of any partnership or project with regard to the homeless. We don't have any documents, and Mr. Caesar is no longer with us. He actually left early on in 2019. I can look into it. We are exploring ideas, and we have to use some of our homes for the transition, and then also our other real estate owned homes, like the one in Jigo. But I can, my accounting team is not familiar with any funds that we may have received or
I think
for that. Yeah.
I think at the time it was former Senator Chris Duenas was the director. I forget what the titles are of the Guam Housing Corporation.
Yeah, that's my predecessor. Yeah, I apologize. You know, I'll look into it. I'll look into it and see if there's anything. And if you can just, my contact information is on the sheet. Shoot me an email and I'll see if I can get you some answers to that. But since coming on board, I've not been aware. We've reviewed our files. I've not seen anything on that. So
The reason I'm asking is I was wondering. So then, Guam Housing Corporation will be involved in a future more permanent shelter for the homeless. Is that right?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Is it the right impression that any future shelter will be the Guam Housing Corporation will be involved in acquiring or building or somehow involved with the new more permanent homeless shelter help center?
Well, I'm involved with the interagency and I will do what I can, and Guam Housing will do what it can within the parameters of its mandates, right? So we will help where we can. Yes, most definitely.
Thank you very much for that information.
Thank you, Mr. Kolani.
All right, are
Thank you
there
very
any
much.
other members of the public or media that would like to ask a question? If not, we will reconvene at the same time next Thursday at 11 o'clock to continue to provide updates. Next week, we'll also probe into or review the parole services situation at the Guam Department of Corrections. There is a considerable amount of at-risk homelessness for individuals that are completing sentences up there. And so we will focus in on that issue in addition to providing updates on all the different issues. I thank all of you for joining this meeting and for all your work. We will continue to make progress. Again, we're still at the way beginning of a big venture for us, but I want to thank all of you for all the work that you're doing. It is not certainly, there's a lot of work to be done. We're certainly not in a place that is acceptable, but I feel confident that if we continue to make progress, it'll make a difference on the lives of all those that are unsheltered and those that are living in the substandard homes. So thank you very much and have a good day. Stay safe and continue to practice all of the public health recommendations for our safety. Thank you very much.
Lieutenant Governor, I move that the meeting be adjourned.
I second.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Alice.
Yes,
Thank
nice job,
you.
Alice. Very good.
Thank
Very
you.
professional. Thank you, girl.
Thank you.